Welcome to Grit and Grow with Megan and Sarah. Today's episode is Focused Action.
I find the beauty in commotion, swimming by the gale, miles away.
Welcome to Grit and Grow with Megan and Sarah. Today we are talking about focused action. So that's a very deep topic because I know I'm not always focused, and we can show that on the podcast here sometimes that I don't always focus well. So Sarah, let's talk about focused action.
I love this one because there is a huge difference between being busy and being productive. And so that's something that I realized and experienced it as a obstacle when working with clients, is that instead of getting the things done that need to get done to complete a task, we are doing everything else, keeping ourselves busy, running around over here. And so then we're not getting any closer to our goal. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted. And if you look back at your day, you ran all day and you probably got tons of stuff done. And no one's trying to negate anything that we're doing. Like, good job taking your kid to the doctor and good job registering your kid. And I'm so glad they got to their sports practice. And no one's trying to say negative things about all those awesome things that are getting done. But what we're trying to say is you didn't do the action that you said you were going to do that was going to get you closer to your goal. And that's what this podcast is about. The difference between being busy and being focused.
Yeah, I'm really good at the busy. Very good at the busy.
Love you dearly and appreciate so much that you called that out, because I want you to rein yourself in. I want you to create some new lovely boundaries and barriers for yourself, because if you force yourself to focus on what you're good at, which is serving clients, obviously serving your family, but we're having a business conversation now. But if you force yourself to focus on coaching clients, you will see tremendous results. But that means you have to create some sort of discipline, some sort of system that works for you to get you back on track when you're wanting to go learn how to build a website, when you're wanting to go learn a new software.
We're gonna make it deliver 2 jars before I settle in.
Hold on 1 second.
I don't know where we were.
So that's a really good example of non-focused, because I got slightly sidetracked by my husband coming over and wanting to talk to me for a second. So we paused it and now we're back. So we were talking about focused action and the difference. You were calling me out. That's where we were at. You were calling me out on the fact that I stay busy, but I'm not always focused. And go.
Well, but I mean, I have no problem at all watching you interact with your husband. And in fact, it's really lovely. And I just feel like I got to see you as yourself more. So, but that's the thing. So learning to deal with things as they come up and then shifting your focus towards them and then being able to get right back on track. And whether that's my husband interrupted me, my 8-year-old interrupted me, or, life-altering diagnosis interrupts you, a car accident interrupts you, the loss of a house, a separation interrupts you. When you get really clear on your goal and you've connected your goal to your core values, then it's easy to reconnect with your why, then get back on track with those actions. And I say it's easy, and this is why I started to slow myself down, was because it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. I have to work with counselors and coaches and the lovely Megan here to figure out what action to take to move myself forward. I am crystal clear on where I'm going in my business. It's the getting there for me. And I'm to a point where I'm fed up with the stage I'm at. So I'm ready to dig deeper to get farther. And you just had your interruption, and I'm not sure. My husband summoned the husband.
Okay, we stopped. I'll just stop it. And we're back again. So this is the perfect time for our focused action podcast, because my husband interrupted, her husband interrupted. So now we're focusing back on where we're at and doing focused action.
And we're able to do that because we know what we want to do. We've got our eyes focused on the prize. We know what we're creating. We know why we're doing it. We're excited to do it. We've accepted it's going to be imperfect. We've accepted it's going to be exactly what it is. And that is what it takes to keep your eye on the prize. And that's what it takes to be able to get back to focused action. So it's important to, like I said, you have got to have your eye on the prize. We need to know what we need to do, and you need to know how to do the things you're supposed to do. And that's one thing that I'm digging into right now with my business in the course that I'm launching is maybe I'm not finishing this because I don't know how to do one of these things. And so I'm excited for our accountability plan to get into the nuts and bolts of it, to figure out and make sure I know how to do each of the steps. So that's important when it comes to a focused action plan. Don't put something on your list that you have to learn how to do just to get accomplished. Then you've set yourself up for failure. You've set yourself to get all lost in your feels. I'm going to have to send you back to Megan. She's going to have to help get your head straight again before we can go back to the focused action. And then the next step in this little podcast that we're going to complete is completing the action. Once you've completed that action, it's really important to celebrate your success. It's really important to look at that checked off list. I wish I had one right here, but I have got a checklist right here. This is the names of the podcast because I'm a physical hand person. So make yourself lists that you can check off to keep yourself in action, to keep yourself in focused action, being consistent, getting things done. That's what it takes.
It does. And it's funny because it is it's the perfect time for our podcast, because both of our husbands are coming home and we're focused, getting unfocused temporarily and then coming back. Yes, and we're trying to keep the time
Mine's
down.
2 hours early.
Yeah. Well, but we're
It is not 6 p.m. in my land.
Yeah, that's right. Tell them to go away for a little while. But the thing is that I know out of the two of us, I am the least focused. And that's because I am very good at the shiny object syndrome. And you're sitting there talking about, don't tell yourself you're going to do something that you don't even know how to do. And here I am, I signed up for that one Click Slow. I have no idea how to use it. I'm like, I'm going to start using it this week. Well, I have to watch 15 videos to figure out how to use it. So then I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that this week. I'll watch a video this week. And then so on and so forth. So what happens is I have all these tools and these things available to me, and I don't know how to use them because that's what I said I was going to do. But then I don't get focused. I get focused on something else. And I'm like, I don't want to focus on the brass tacks. I want to focus on actually helping people. And then that gets pushed all the way back because now I want to do that, but then I end up doing that. I'm really good at that. Very good.
Yep, you are. You're really good at using other things to do or being busy as a distraction. And so you could create a rule for yourself that unless this task is on this list, or unless this educational topic, video, article is related to one of these things, because dude, feel free to research things, feel free to get interested, feel free to go get new software that will help you out, but limit yourself to certain categories. You have a fairly new category in your life that, yeah, you might choose to sign up for an app. You might choose to go and research that. And that's okay because, again, you've got your top priorities, but you need to check with yourself. So we did talk about shiny object syndrome quite a bit. And now you know what it is to be on task and you know when you're off task. So for you, it's about discipline, because you've already got self-awareness. So now about adding in that piece of discipline. And so a tool you can use for that is to create a distraction dump list. That way you're not telling yourself no, you're telling yourself later, because it might be something that is very valuable to you or your business or your clients or your family. And so you really might want to give it your attention, but you've chosen, this is your time block to do reach outs and follow-ups so that you can close a sale. You're not going to run over here and go do this thing instead. But if your brain thinks of a new idea, I don't know if you've got ADHD. I've never been diagnosed, but I've had lots of people say they want to diagnose me. So I understand the squirrel brain. Write it down. Make a distraction dump list. And I'm going to hold you accountable to showing it to me tomorrow.
I do not. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but same thing. I've had multiple people tell me that they think I'm ADHD because I had my old boss. I would go and do something and he'd send me to do something. And like 30 minutes later, he texted me. He'd like, did you find something shiny? and I'd be like, oh, man, I meant to do this. And I was doing something completely different and didn't even remember what I was supposed to be doing. So until he texted me, and then I was like, damn
Yep.
it. So I do
Yep.
have a habit of getting off in my brain. Like I find, oh, I
Yep.
got to do this. And so I got to be better with that. And I am working on that. I think right now, I think with me being back on my thyroid, I am more focused than I have been in a long time, because I am able to sit there and do one thing and not think of 9,000 other things to do at that moment. So I am getting better, because I think my thyroid
Yep.
is helping me sleep better, which is helping me stay focused.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that might be it for focused action, because we're going to keep focused and not busy. We're going to be productive. We're going to get closer to our goal, not just waste time.
No, and then we're, it's
My straw's clogged.
It's definitely about keeping the eye on the prize. And that's why, like earlier, I said to you, you are not, I don't even want to know what he said. I didn't hear it, but
He's not here. It's her. Come here, little munchkin. Say hi to the podcast. This is my tiny podcast background guest.
I figured there was a comment from the peanut gallery back there with the straw is clogged. I figured there had to be something. I know my husband would say something, but
How often do you channel your husband? Do you say something that he would have said, but you said it?
I don't always say it, but it pops into my head.
I did that when Octavia had her surgery. I kept making silly, funny jokes to the staff and Octavia. I'm like, I'm not usually weird and goofy and silly like this. I might be channeling Daddy right now, because Daddy's personality is great in these situations.
I do. I tend to channel the other part of my husband that makes everything inappropriate. And that's why I don't always say things. They'll pop into my head, and I'll be like, and I'll bite myself.
Did I ever tell you about the Did I ever tell you about the time when I was working in the doctor's office and the younger of the two doctors, the not owner, he said something to me from down the hall, and he wears a mask because he's so close to patients and elder patients. And so he said something all funny, like his body was all crouched down. He said something funny, and then he ran off. And I could not, the thing that I heard him say, I knew for a fact was not what he had just said, because he would never say something like that to me. And so it was the funniest thing, because then he came and found me later. He's like, your face looked confused. What do you think I said? And I was like, no, what did you say? He's like, I told you to say it to my face. And I had been telling the staff about how in our satellite office, sometimes he gets interviewed by old ladies. Where did you go to school? And how long have you been practicing? And he handled it like a boss. He fielded these questions real well. And so that's the story I was telling about him. And so he heard me talking about him. And so what he was saying down the hallway was, say it to my face. But I just spent like time with my husband and hanging out with my husband. So my brain heard. Can you tell me what my brain heard?
I can just imagine what your brain.
My brain heard, sit on my face.
Yep.
And that young doctor would never, ever, ever, ever speak to me like that, or any other lady that he worked with. And so my brain just went, blink, reject, blink, reject, blink, reject. And so that's why he came into the lab later. He's like, you look so confused. What do you think I said? I'm like, no. What did you say?
Yep. Yeah, I know. I do. And I will channel
Focused
him.
action.
I will channel him a lot, but we're trying to focus here. It's late in the day, at least for me, it's late in the day. So focusing gets harder as the day goes on, and we keep making each other laugh. I know, but where it's all about focusing your attention when you're setting time for your business, when it comes to setting time for your business, or even setting time for your family, is about focusing on that, being present in that moment and doing what you need to do. So that is basically what we've been trying to talk about during this podcast, without all the interruptions, and our own interruptions. But it's about focusing down into what are the important things to do right now to help your business, help your family, be there, be present, and experience the time that you have with them or in your business. Did I sum that up?
Let's go spend some time with our families.
Yes. I got to go make dinner. So this has been Grit and
You did a great job.
Grit and Grow with Megan and Sarah. And this was all about focused action. And it was a perfect podcast for that. And you guys will see why if you haven't yet. Bye, guys.
I'm living for